I had always been the kind of woman who prided herself on her family values. Greg and Max were my whole world, my safe haven from the chaos of life. But my idyllic image of our family had shattered the day I discovered Greg's secret life. The emails, the messages, the hidden phone calls, they were all pieces of a puzzle I wasn't ready to confront immediately. Instead, I chose to wait and plan my revenge with precision. My initial feelings were a whirlwind of shock, betrayal, and profound sadness. Greg had been my rock, my partner in everything, and now he was living a double life I hadn't even suspected until it was too late. When I found out about his second family, my emotions were a mix of rage and heartbreak. But instead of succumbing to the emotional chaos, I chose to channel it into a calculated plan. Carol, my mother in law, had always been a figure of warmth and support in my life. Her recent move into the cottage had seemed like a benign event, but I soon realized it was a key part of Greg's deception. He used her as a cover for his late night escapades, and while she believed she was helping her son, she was unwittingly aiding his betrayal. The rainy evening I chose to come home early was not just about catching Greg off guard. It was about setting the stage for the dramatic reveal of his infidelity. As I walked through our home, the silence was almost deafening. The scent of the woman's perfume was a bitter reminder of the lies Greg had been living. When I saw him in bed with his mistress, my heart didn't just break. It roared with a fierce resolve. I knew I had to be strategic. Confronting him in that moment would have been emotionally satisfying, but ineffective. My plan needed to be methodical, ensuring that Greg faced the full repercussions of his actions. I drove to Carol's cottage with a sense of cold determination. I had once considered her a confidant, but now I had to reveal the truth to her. Her reaction was a mix of disbelief and anger, and though I felt a pang of sympathy for her, I was focused on my goal. Her shock at learning the truth was almost satisfying. Seeing her wrestle with the reality of her son's deceit was a step in my plan. "What are you going to do?" Carol asked, her voice trembling. The question was more than just a query, it was a reflection of her own turmoil. I took a deep breath, my voice steady. "I'm going to make sure Greg faces the consequences of his actions. He's going to understand that betrayal has a price far greater than he imagined." As I left Carol to process the revelation, I felt a grim satisfaction. The path I had chosen was fraught with emotional complexity, but it was necessary. I returned home where Greg was still ensnared in his false sense of security. I let him continue his charade a bit longer, knowing the storm I was about to unleash would shatter his world. The next day, I meticulously prepared the final part of my plan. Crafting an email with all the damning evidence required precision. I included photos, videos, and a detailed timeline, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. I sent it out to everyone in our social circle, friends, colleagues, and acquaintances. I wanted Greg to experience the full impact of his actions, not just in private, but in the glaring spotlight of public scrutiny. As I watched the fallout unfold, there was a mixture of satisfaction and emotional relief. Greg's carefully constructed world was collapsing, and it was a direct consequence of his own deceit. The pain of his betrayal had been profound, but by executing my plan, I had reclaimed my power. Each calculated move was a step toward healing and rebuilding, stronger and wiser from the experience.